Okay, so like I'm $13,000 in debt.
I am 28 years old and I am in $40,722 in debt.
I'm $155,000 in credit card debt.
So today we're going to be watching some videos about debt, how much people have, how they feel about it, and the stories behind it. And then we're going to see what everybody else has to say about their debt in the comments. So yeah, let's get into it.
Everyone's always like, Brenda, why are you working so hard? Why are you doing a full-time job and posting on TikTok all the dang time? It's because I have $78,327 in student loans. And you want to know how much unpaid interest I accrued in the month of February? $523.93. And this is me paying at least a minimum of $2,000 per month. Started with a little bit over $150-something thousand because I had the bright idea of going to grad school so that I can graduate in a healthcare job to help people, but not get paid enough for the amount of student loans I had to take out. Now, my fault, I went to a private university, but still, it shouldn't be this hard to pay off student loan. But based on my PT salary alone, there is absolutely no way that I could pay this much with just that salary alone and live a breathable, decent life. Make it make sense?
Well, breathable, decent life is a subjective term. It sounds like she probably is in a little bit of a lifestyle creep situation. So she probably is using her salary for things that she doesn't necessarily need. Subscriptions, a nice car, food, vacation, who knows. But what she needs to do probably is take a look at what she can cut back on. If she can live with her parents maybe for a little while, rent is huge. It's a big expense right now. It's probably most people's biggest expense. And then follow that up by a car. If she's got a car that's worth $40,000, you don't need a car that's worth $40,000. A car that's worth 10 or 20 will reliably get you from point A to point B. She might want it to be a nice car, but right now nice isn't what she needs. She needs something that's reliable and something that's cheaper so that she can put a lot of money towards her debt, because that's not going to go away unless she throws herself at it. She's got to change her lifestyle. She's got to do things in a way that she's probably not used to doing by now. And she's almost 30 years old, so I understand that it can be a hard change, but it needs to be done probably. But let's go see what the comments have to say about that. Don't go to private schools. Private schools do tend to be on the much more pricey side. A public university seems to have most of the same classes, if not the same classes, and gives you pretty much the same education, at least in my experience, but I have not tried a private school. I've only ever gone to a public university. I went to an expensive school, graduated with over a $200,000 plus loan, and worked my A off to pay it off in 3 years. It was not fun. Good luck. Well, there's a success story right there. If you work your A off and you don't stop for 3 years straight, it's not impossible, or else people would not be able to do it, and there wouldn't be success stories like that. It feels like a scam. The student loans then force you to work for 15 years. To be honest, I didn't learn that much in university, but jobs tend to require degrees to interview. That's true. If you don't have that little piece of paper, it doesn't matter your experience. It seems to be just a requirement. If you don't have it, you're not getting in. They're just going to say, there's the door.
I'm 35 years old and in $169,292.74 of debt, and I still live at home with my parents. And you might as well bump that up to $266,722.97 in debt if you add in how much I will pay in interest. I started aggressively looking at my debt in January and truly didn't know the full financial picture until I got it all down on paper. Debts include 2 private student loans, 10 federal student loans, 1 auto loan, 1 private loan, and 13 credit cards. I've already taken some drastic measures to reduce spending and start side hustling. I'm selling my debt tracking template, I'm door dashing, donating plasma, selling items around the house, and doing TikTok shop to try and make a dent. I made some really good progress so far thanks to an annual bonus I got from my 9-to-5 job, but I've got a long way to go. I've been able to negotiate most of my interest rates on my credit cards down with the help of a debt management plan, but the interest on my student loans is wild. My 2 private student loans have interest rates of 12.75% and 8.9%, while my federal loans range from 5.8 to 6.6%. The private student loans are from my undergraduate degree, which I earned over 15 years ago. I would probably puke if I knew how much I had already paid. And to this day, I think about all the frivolous things I bought and did when I was in my teens and 20s with this money, and wow, if I would have known I would be paying for tank tops and fun nights out at bars 1,000 times over the next 15 years, I might have made some different choices. Even though I've already paid off about $31,000 of debt so far this year, I'm still not looking at being debt-free until 2040. I honestly cannot imagine another 15 years of paying on this debt, especially with so many other life milestones I want to achieve, like buying a house and having kids. I also just got engaged, and it truly makes me sick thinking about how I am bringing more than $150,000 of debt into our marriage starting out. This is not a video to complain by any means, because these were my own choices and I'm working to pay back what I owe, but I hope sharing this can resonate with others, and if you want to follow along on the journey and like and follow and share and all that fun stuff, that would be great.
Wow. she's in so much debt. I heard her say 13 credit cards. 13 credit cards. Why would you have 13 credit cards? I have like 3. And it sounds like her student loan interest is insane. 12.7%, 8 point something percent. There's too high. I would definitely look into debt consolidation. Honestly, at that point, maybe even bankruptcy would be preferable to that, because that's so much debt, and she's not as young as a normal person would be with that much debt. She doesn't have a whole lot of time, basically. If she's not paying it off till 2040, that's another 15 years. Bankruptcy, I believe, would only be 7 years on your record. So get rid of most of the debt, have the student loans still on there because you can't get rid of those, and then work on those, because those are going to kill you even just on their own. But added on to everything else, she is in for a rough one. I wouldn't pass judgment on her, because we've all been in positions where we do something we don't mean to do, and for her, it just unfortunately has ended in a whole lot more debt than most people would ever want to have. Let's see what the comments have to say about that. I would file bankruptcy. It's not a terrible idea in this case, because that is so much more debt than anybody really could hope to pay off in a very quick way. Bankruptcy, while it would be on your record, is not a terrible option in this case. 13 credit cards, let's start there. Yeah, let's start there. What are these credit cards? What are their interest rates? How much is on these credit cards? Did you max them out? Did you over max them out? And just, why do you need so many? Can you not pay them off? Why aren't you closing them? There's a lot of questions about those. I'm in debt for $400 and they keep harassing me. I can't imagine what they're doing to you. Yeah, I think she's probably just getting so many spam calls a day that she might as well just turn off her phone, because 13 credit cards, student loans, all this other debt that you can't even hope to pay that off without winning the lottery. It's pretty crazy. I think she needed a lot more financial education earlier in her life, because what she said about buying things and not knowing that she was going to have to pay for them 1,000 times over, that shows a serious lack of understanding of how a credit card works. Or maybe she just thought she was going to be able to pay it off and she wasn't, and something happened. But she got here because either she didn't know or she didn't care about how things work, or it could have just been really bad luck and a lot of emergencies happened or something like that.
I have student loans that total just over $1 million.
You're kidding me.
And no, sir.
What were you thinking?
Well, I wasn't thinking, clearly. So I've sat down and calculated my interest rates, and my interest is about $5,800 a month. So my fiance and we're trying to decide what's the best way to try to attack this.
When are you getting married?
April.
Okay. And what will you be making as an orthodontist?
About $250.
Okay. And what does she do, and what will she be making?
We actually just opened up an office, and she works in the office, so she's not taking any income out of the office.
Okay. This is such an extreme situation. Your income is extreme and your debt is extreme, that you have to be very, very careful to just act like you're a broke college student because you are a broke orthodontist.
Right.
And so that means you guys aren't going on vacations. You're not buying a house. You're not leasing a new BMW. You're not going to a restaurant. You have $1 million. I can't even say it out loud. I can't breathe. $1 million in student loan debt. It gives me an anxiety attack, and it's not even my debt. But the horrible news is that ridiculous figure. The wonderful news is you have great income potential and a great income right now. So you cannot relax.
Right. So
you have to cut as deeply as you can cut.
Right.
And so be dialing your taxes in. I don't want you to get behind on taxes, but other than taxes and food and water and electricity, I really want everything else just going on student loan debt. The good news is you've got a great shovel and you have a great bright future with your income potential, and that gets you out of this. It's not a reason to get into it, but it does get you out of it. It gives you hope for your future.
Well, $1 million in student loans is nothing to laugh at. That is an incredibly high amount of debt. And if it's student loans, then that means you can't get out of it through bankruptcy. He's making $250,000 a year, but the interest alone at $5,800 a month comes out to about $70,000 a year. That leaves him with $180,000 over the whole year, and he needs to take out more of that money to actually pay off some of the principal of that loan. And he needs to pay for his living. He needs to pay for his wife because she's not taking a salary. He needs to pay gas, insurance, rent on the new place, the new office that he got, unless he paid for it somehow with cash, which if he's in $1 million of debt, I'm not sure how he did that. This man, he's in a pretty rough state. See what the comments have to say about this. Great advice, and his wife needs a different job to help him tackle the debt. I don't know. If his wife is working with him, that's basically her being an employee. If she wasn't working there and she was working somewhere else, they'd have to be paying an employee. So unless she could make more than what they would have to pay an employee, then I don't see a reason for her to do that. Even if they live on $40K a year and throw the rest of his income at that debt, it will be just shy of 5 years to pay that back. That's pretty crazy. That's a long time. And they'd be living like broke college students, just like he suggested. Holy, mine totaled to a car amount. It took me 10 years to pay $1,000 off. The rest was just interest. I can't comprehend $1 million. Yeah, the interest will really kill you with student loans. With any type of loan, with any type of interest, they're going to try to jack it up to where it just keeps on building. It keeps on building. And then you're stuck paying money that you didn't even owe in the first place. Brother, $1 million. Yeah, enough said, really. It's a pretty drastic situation, pretty dramatic, pretty intense. That's a lot of money. It's going to be possible, but they're not going to be able to enjoy their lives for a while. But yeah, guys, that was the video. I appreciate you watching. If you liked it, give it a sub, give it a like, comment what you thought about the video. And I'm looking forward to the next one, seeing what other crazy financial things people get themselves into. Have a good one.